Hi everyone, welcome to my channel. I am Dr. Shabazz here. In today's video, I will demonstrate how to conduct and interpret the independent sample median test in SPSS. So the median test is a non-parametric statistical procedure used to compare the median of an ordinal or continuous outcome across two or more independent groups. So this test is similar to Kruskal-Wallis test where we compare the mean, but in median test we compare the median. So we have example of 60 customers. We will compare the satisfaction level of 60 customers over three centers. So we coded center A with 1, center B with 2 and center C with 3. And we also make the ordinal scale and satisfaction level from 0 to 100. So they rated the satisfaction of each service center from 0 to 100. So here is the data of satisfaction. Okay, so service center, basically there are three service center A, B and C. So in this way, we will compare the customer satisfaction scores across three independent service centers, center A, B and C. So our objective is to determine whether customer median satisfaction differs significantly across these service centers or not. So I will explain when to use the median test, its major assumptions, how to perform it step by step in SPSS, and how to interpret the frequency table and overall test results. So for this purpose, we will go for PowerPoint presentation. So in median test, because this is a non-parametric test, so we compare medians across independent groups. So this is similar to Kruskal-Wallis test where we compare the independent groups. And we choose this test recognized two or more independent groups. See how scores become below and above a pooled median. And basically, the median test compares independent groups. If asked whether group membership is associated with falling below or above a common median. So we coded data as per ABC center, and these are the threshold value for median, and we compare with Kruskal-Wallis test. So when we focus, median test focus on above and below a common median. However, Kruskal-Wallis test focus on full rank distributions. On the other hand, median test is dichotomized scores and Kruskal-Wallis test provides all ranks. And power is often lower and often higher. Robustness and best teaching use. Okay, so independence is essential in median test because normality is unnecessary, but the outcome must be orderable and the groups must be overlapped. So these 5 conditions assumptions before testing the median test in SPSS. First of all, independent observations. Each participant appears once and belongs to one center. Independent random samples, orderable outcome, two or more groups, adequate expected counts. So normality and equal variances are not required for this test. So these are the threshold values to accept or reject the null hypothesis. So this is a alpha value because our p-value should be lower than 0.05. And pooled cut points sample median we will use from the results. And pairwise alpha, which is basically a Bonferroni adjusted significance level. When we divide the alpha by 3, then we get 0.0167, which is Bonferroni adjusted significance level. Expected counts prefer greater or equal to 5. Cramer V value 0.106 small, 0.30 shows median, and 0.50 and above shows large conventions, large improvement. So now we will perform the median test in SPSS. So we go to SPSS data file and click on Analyze. Then click on Non-Parametric Test, Legacy Dialogs, then click on K Independent Samples. So now we put the satisfaction score, which is dependent variable, under test variable list, and service center, which is grouping variable, and we define the group because there are three centers, so minimum value was 1 and the maximum was 3, and click on continue. Okay, so options will go for descriptive statistics and then click on continue. So the most important thing, we are not going to do Kruskal Wallis, but we are going to compare the median. So we'll click on median and uncheck this box and click on OK. So we get the results here. So you can see there is a number of observations 60 and the mean value for satisfaction score 55.50 and for server centers 2. A standard deviation minimum and maximum. So if we see the median test frequencies, we can see here at center A, all 20 respondents scored at or below the overall median. So you can see here. So satisfaction score greater than median at center A. And at center B, 10 respondents scored above the median and 10 scored are at below it in both cases. So center A showed that 20 respondents scored equal to median are less than, and 0 greater than and less than median. And if we see at center C, all 20 respondents scored above the median. Okay, so the median test also produced a chi-square value which is 40 with 2 degrees of freedom, and p-value is less than 0.05. So if we check the p-value, so we can compare p-value is less than our alpha as well as the Bonferroni adjusted significance level. So in both cases the p-value is less than, so in this case we reject the null hypothesis. So we can simply say that the median satisfaction scores differed significantly across the three server centers. So it means there is a significant difference. And also we can say the expected frequency assumption was also satisfied because no expected cell frequency was below 5 and the minimum expected frequency was 10. Cramer V was approximately 0.2 and Cramer V value we calculated from the chi-square and the value is 0.82, which is a very large difference. And you can also see a Cramer value. There is small shows 0.10, medium 0.30 and large 0.5, but we get 0.8382. So it means there is a large improvement, there is a large difference between center A and B and C. Okay, so now we come back to our results. So now we are going to perform the median test in another way with comparison. We click on non-parametric test and click on independent samples and click on fields, and we will put the satisfaction score at test fields and the service center in grouping variable. And we check the setting, automatically choose the test based on the data. No, we need a specific test. We are going to do median test. So we'll check this box and select the median test. We also see the test option because we are going to use 5% significance level. There is no missing value in our data. So we will click on run. So you can also see here the medians of satisfaction score are the same across categories of service centers. So it means null hypothesis state that the medians of satisfaction score are same among center A, B, and C. But in our results, we see that the satisfaction score is different from center A to center 3. So it means we reject the null hypothesis because also the significance p-value is less than 0.05. When we double click on this table and we see the comparison, okay, so we see the center A, center B, and center C grand median. So in center C, we found the grand median 55.5 according to satisfaction score, and median 55.5, test statistic chi-square 40, and the p-value is 0.00, which is lower than 0.05, and Bonferroni adjusted significance level 0.0167. So in both cases, we reject the null hypothesis. So we also see the categorical field information and continuous field information table, figure, and pairwise comparison, which is the most important to compare what we found in center A, center B, and center C. So this is a pairwise comparison of service center. So this is a chart where we'll see that there is a median at center A 40.5 and center B 55.5 and center C 70.50. So there is a significant improvement of median. It means the satisfaction score from center A to center C. So here we see the comparison sample A to sample 2. We see that center A to center B, the test statistic is 2.506, which is significant level is 0.113 because the p value is higher than 0.05. This one. So it means from center A to center B, the p value is higher than the threshold value and the Bonferroni value. So it means in this case we accept the null hypothesis. So this shows that this is a p value and this is a Bonferroni adjusted alpha value. So in both cases we accept the null hypothesis. It means there is not a significant difference between center A and center B about the satisfaction score. So if we see center B A to C, and we found that there is a significant difference between center A and C because we are comparing the satisfaction score between center A and center C. We found the chi-square 40 and the significance level is p value is lower than 0.05, and also the Bonferroni adjusted significance level also this value is lower than the Bonferroni adjusted alpha value. So in this case we reject the null hypothesis. So these findings show that there is a significant improvement, there is a significant difference between center A and center C of satisfaction score. So satisfaction of customers in center A to C is very different and are significant different from center A to center C. Okay, so if we compare the satisfaction score between center B and center C, we found the chi-square 2.506 and the p-value is 0.113, which is higher than 0.05, and also the adjusted significance level is 3.34, which is also higher than Bonferroni adjusted alpha value. So in this case we accept the null hypothesis because there is no significant difference of satisfaction score between center B to center C. So in this way, we can conclude the finding that Bonferroni adjusted pairwise comparison showed a significant difference between center A to center C. However, center A did not differ significantly from center B, and B did not significantly differ from center C. So in this way, we interpret the findings of median test in SPSS. If you find my video helpful, please subscribe to my channel and press bell icon so you can get my next video easily. Thank you.